Whoops, helps if I pull myself into stream. Welcome to Doing It with DeWitt and Ready or Not. Whew. We are live on Sunday night, February, whatever it is, 6th, I think. Welcome, everybody, to DeWitt 3D Canada. And thank you for joining me. I see we have some eager beavers already on the channel. Let me go and say hello to who's here. Joe Velasco first at 5:10 p.m. Are you crazy? I shouldn't say that line. That's already taken. Are you nuts? Printer Prawn is here. Non-fam Kieran, Guy the Jedi, Dominic Versetto, good evening. Doogie and Dougal, sorry. Stephen Poole, hello. And Stream Elements, hello, Stream Elements. Glad you can make it. Mika Steve, hello, Dean Hines, and Milan is here. Andrew Osmond, David is here. The Apprentice is here. Wow, we have a semi-full house tonight. Let me hop over and see who's on Twitch and who's not. Yeah, we have a couple people over here on Twitch, so we are dual streaming again tonight, Twitch and YouTube. And until Twitch slaps my hand and says don't do that, I'm going to do that just because I want to kind of capture everybody. Jason is here. Hello, Jason. You're just here to catch me on something. I know that. But hey, I appreciate you being here, man. Gary T is here. Yes. So hello, everybody. And so tonight, I'm going to attempt to do a fair bit of work in a little bit of time. Who is the master streamer? I don't know who the master streamer is. It's certainly not me. So, guys, let me know if my sound is doing okay tonight. I'm using the Yeti mic. I tried to use my lavalier mic, but I'm having trouble with the connection somehow, whatever. I have to reload it in OBS, etc. So I'm going to stick with this Yeti Blue here tonight, and hopefully when I'm working over here, I'll try and talk a little louder, but I think it should pick me up no problem. So Big Jano, hello. So sounds good. Thank you. Just don't go tossing my balls around as you did on Tripod Stream. I won't. Oh, look at that. Tripod's Garage cheered 50 bits. Thank you so much, Tripod. I appreciate that. I don't have snowballs flying around in mine like you do. So, yeah. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate the bits. Let's go. And I promise, Kieran, I won't be tossing any snowballs around. I'm going to be too busy. So tonight we are... Where did I put it? Woo! Oh, right over behind me. Tonight, I am finished with the Ender 2 for now. I'm waiting on a couple more parts, and I'm going to maybe do a few more things on the Ender 3 V2, sorry. But tonight, I thought I'd just switch it up a little bit and do something that I've been sitting on for a long time. Dwitted Canada, you demand. Well, thank you very much. I don't know if the drop is working on this particular camera stream, John, so we will see. I may have disabled it because I may be clipping certain parts of this together to do a video later, but we'll see. But anyways, tonight we're going to work on this guy. We're going to be upgrading the MK3S to the MK3S Plus. So I have gone ahead... you guys, stop it. Come on. Whoa, hello, look at that. Let me go right over to here and go Super Chat. Thank you so much, Jason, for the Super Chat. $5. I appreciate it. Just ask if you want to know the easy way to do something. I will. You have a Prusa too, so you may just be able to help me. So I went ahead. We're going to be following these instructions right here. Okay, so typical Prusa fashion, we're going to be doing right here the MK3S extruder disassembly. Then we're going to be doing the MK3S extruder upgrade. We're going to be doing electronics assembly, Y-axis upgrade, and a pre-flight check, basically is what we're going to run through tonight. I have an advance run so that this kit came with everything I need except the printed parts. So I had run the printed parts through the week. So there's all the printed parts we need. It's not a lot, but a lot of little parts. So the printed parts we're going to need for this. And of course, they've included some other parts. Another cable sheath here, like this, and with the little thick filament thing in here for stiffening up the cable. And then it has also come with. They did include a couple Well, there's some more parts here. This is the Y-axis upgrade, and then we have some cable ties and a new PIDNA probe, I believe is what's in this one. Yeah, cable ties and a new PIDNA probe for it. We have some more hardware here. It looks like some magnets, springs, etc., and bolts and so forth. We have an extruder upgrade. So the only printed part, oh, there is another PIDNA cable. Oh, my bad. This other PIDNA cable, that's a mini upgrade. That's all that gets done in the mini. We're not going to be doing the mini tonight, actually. I'll put that up beside the mini so that is there for future. But so this is the extruder upgrade. So the one printed part that they did. Oh, Chris Travis, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate that. Very much appreciate the subscription. So we have they've printed another fan shroud for me. They included it because it's a very tiny and intricate piece for printing. And then they've also included a filament sensor and a PIDNA probe and some cable ties. And in this little guy looks like just some more hardware, some more bolts and stuff. So there we go. That's what was in the box. We'll get rid of that over there. I have tried Tactile 3D Picture. Hey, good evening. Welcome. And I'm going to try and catch everybody as they come on. And if I have anybody, and I know I do have some mods, let me double check over on my Twitchers. There's a few mods on Twitch. If you guys want to feel free to do shout outs, that's perfectly fine with me. And we'll see if I get spammed again tonight, like I've been spammed every other night. So we have 24 people watching, 23. Somebody just got sick of what they were seeing already. That's fine. So we have 23 people watching already combined on Twitch and YouTube. So welcome and thank you very much. Okay, and Bionic, hello. Did I say hello to you already? Anyways, I'll probably say hello to people 2 or 3 times. So I've tried to set up some different cameras here just to get you guys the best view. So we're going to have this camera view here, which I can actually move around a little bit more. And I've got this finally on a tripod that I can actually move it and lock it into place. It's an incredible tripod. Problem with some of the tripods I've used before is that you lock the camera into place and it falls, or you have to tighten that little screw. This one's a little different, so it works fine. We have my standard camera here. We have a close-up cam, which I can use to move around anywhere I want, basically. And then we have this camera here, which is coming right from boom here. This camera will allow me to do extreme close-ups, have it on a tripod. Well, John, get here and I'll mount a couple cameras on you. I think it would work. So this one will let me do extreme close-ups. But for now, I'm just doing a faraway view so you can get an idea of what's happening. We have an overhead camera over the work surface right here now so that you can kind of see what's happening here. And then we have, of course, I've got a nice split view, which, you know, and you guys are watching it, so you guys can tell me maybe when I get into doing the disassembly and stuff, this split view is what's going to work. Most people have an issue with tripods. That's what I've heard. So anyways, that's what we're doing. So we're going to jump right into it. I don't want to, because this could take a little while. We're already 11 minutes into the stream, so let's jump right into it and get some disassembling going on. So I'm going to bring up this screen here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to this section right here, which is the extruder disassembly. Okay, difficulty is moderate. I don't know, they say. So I need a Phillips head screwdriver. I need some needle nose pliers, maybe, maybe not. And I need some Allen wrenches. Sorry, some hex keys. Okay, I've got the hex keys, needle nose pliers for zip tie trimming. That's what I use my nippers for. Okay, so we're going to prepare the printer. So basically they're telling me to put a cloth on it, yada, yada. But anyways, we're going to be following through these instructions here as we go. So I'm going to switch my camera right now to this view right here. Okay, and you get to see me up in the corner over here. Hi, I'm over here. And if you're watching this, please go down and give me a like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't, and give me a follow on Twitch if you're not following on Twitch right now. So first thing they're going to say to do, which is a smart thing, is to protect the bed of the printer. So, speaking of protecting the bed on the printer, I was printing some ABS, yeah, it's the ASA, Prusa mint. And I printed a couple of good successful prints. The first one came off beautifully on the texture sheet. Look what happened to my textured sheet on the second ASA print. It tore the texture right off the bed. So I think I had my Z a little bit too low. So anyways, at least they come two-sided. So there we go. So we're going to put this down here as it suggests. I guess that's just in case anything falls off the hot end, that it's going to protect the bed. And I'm taking the build surface off anyways. So we're going to throw that there. So first thing it suggests to do, it says to move the axis to the center and to move the Z up about 2/3 of the way up the gantry, which I've already done. Okay, then we're coming up, and the first thing we're going to do is release the cable bundle. So basically, release the cable bundle. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Let me take a little drink. Let me take a beverage drink here. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Tactile 3D Picture. I appreciate that. How do you change firmware on a Creality CRX? How do you change firmware on a Creality CRX? I don't have a CRX. Somebody in chat will help you there. So we're going to turn this guy around, make sure I'm unplugged. There we go. Be gone with you, plug. And we're going to open the cover to the port here. So I'm going to leave it on this camera view. Whoa, sorry about that. I'm going to leave it on this tipsy camera view for now. And we'll see how this one works. I'm going to make sure I'm nice and focused on this. Oh, it looks like the drop is working. So you guys go ahead and have fun dropping. Maybe I won't use this for a video later, but that's okay. That's fine. I don't mind at all. So we will pop off this cover here. And again, if there's any audio issues, guys, please let me know. Okay. Where's my little, let me bring this guy in here. Hang on a sec. We've got to bring in the handy dandy screw tray. Magnetic screw tray so we don't lose our bits and pieces and our nuts. Nothing worse than losing your nuts on a live stream. Okay. Let me pull this mic over a little closer. There we go. So at least you guys can hear me as I'm working on the side here. Okay. So we're going to release this, and we're just going to turn this as we go. And this is going to open up the electronics panel inside the Prusa for those of you who've never seen it. I'll see if I can get a nice close-up view in here. Let's do this. Let's bring this other camera around. Sorry, I've got limited workspace here, so I'm going to be moving cameras around a little bit as we do this. And let's see if this camera will give you a little better view in there. There we go. And let's light it up. Look at that. So here's the electronics. Nicely organized electronics, as you can see in here. So it wants me to release the two M310 screws and remove the extruder, remove the cable clip on older printer, blah, blah, blah. On older printers, cut the zip tie. So basically what it's saying is there are two little screws right up here, and what these are going to do is release the whole the little holder that's holding this whole cable bundle in. So there's this one. Try not to get my hand in the way here, and I will keep an eye on chat as I can. So if I miss your question or if I miss your comment, forgive me. Okay, and this one here. Okay. And that piece here comes off, which releases the whole, basically releases the entire cable bundle. And then there's a little thick cord in here that's just kind of jammed into a hole there. So if I pull that out, we release the entire cable bundle here. So remove the zip ties on the cable holder. We don't have any zip ties. I didn't really zip tie these things in neatly when I got it. I just kind of squished everything in and hoped it worked. So there we go. So Now it's saying to remove the textile sleeve all the way to the NC all the way to the eensy case, eensy teensy case. So we're just basically what we're doing now is if we look up here, we are going to cut off zip ties that are on here. And the reason we have to remove all these electronics is because basically all we're doing to remove all these is we're replacing the PIDNA probe. And we're going to rerun the PIDNA probe through the cable, through the case. So we're going to take this right off, just like that. And then we're going to remove this little black stiffening tube. No, we're not actually. Oh yeah, we are. So that little black stiffening tube is in there. So they provided a new case and a new stiffening. I don't know what you want to call that. It almost looks like it's 3mm filament that they use for that. So there we go. Okay, next step is to disconnect the PIDNA sensor from the NC board, from the EINSI board. Sorry, the EINSI board. So what I'm doing here is I am on this instruction right here. And if I click on these images, for those of you that never used these before, it blows it right up and it specifies exactly which cable I am to release right there. So let's go back to this guy. So that, in this mess of wire, is going to be this cable. Okay, I need to kind of get in here so I can see. But I'm trying to get you guys to see as well. Okay. Pulling this out of the way. And it looks like my PIDNA probe cable is this one. Let me point to it right here. This guy right here. Okay. So we're going to pull that out. We hope that's the right one. And it looks like it. It was a 4-pin connector, and it was a 4-pin connector. Yep. So that is the correct one. And it is the one just above this other cable right here. So we did get the right one out. I was live earlier for an hour today. Was I live today? I forget. Anyway, so there's a PIDNA probe cable coming out. There we go. So that's unplugged. We're just going to leave this for now because we're going to have to get back in there, obviously, to plug the new one in. So let me check the instructions now, see where we're going next. Now we're going to be removing the X carriage back. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to this camera. Let me get this out of the way here. And turn this guy around. And I'll try and give you guys a decent view on this one. Oh, is that snowballs? What is that? Cheers. That's Kieran Clark cheering. Now, are those sort of the balls that will interfere with the drop? That's kind of a good question to find out. So I'm going to zoom in a bit here, guys. Whoa! Right in on this guy for you. There we go. You guys have fun playing. Everybody will hop over to Twitch from YouTube maybe. But anyway, so we're going to remove some screws from the back of this. So we're going to take these two guys off. You know what? I don't like this view. Let me give you guys a little different view here. I think this camera view is going to be a little bit better. There we go. That way, my hand doesn't get in the way of the camera so much. So we're going to take these screws off here. Basically 4 screws to undo here. These two, this one. Manor Mutant, hey, thanks for popping in. That looks like it is Manor Mutant. Why does that name sound familiar? And this one under here. Oh, and this is holding the cable. This is basically a cable organizer here. And I need to now go ahead and snip off. I need to go ahead and snip off these zip ties that are on this guy. Okay, this part will be reused. Let's throw those out. Okay. And I believe there's one more bolt down here to take out, and that is one just down here. And this whole back plate should slide off as soon as I loosen this one off all the way. There we go. And that whole thing comes right out. And I probably don't. I'm just going to move all these screws off. I shouldn't have to remove that whole thing from the wire loom, because that would mean disconnecting all the wires from the main board. And I don't think they'd want me to do that. Everybody hear me still fine when I'm working over here? Just let me know. That'd be appreciated. Okay. There we go. Okay. So far, so good. And we're going to push the pidna probe through this hole. Where's the pidna probe cable? Right here. There it is. So we want to take this through. And we're going to just carefully pull this through the hole. There we go. And that loosens up the whole pidna probe cable right here. Too busy with YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute and Twitch in the mix. There we go. Oh, we'll pull the pidna probe cable right through, and all the other cables can just sort of hang out here for a little bit while we get the rest done here. Okay. So let's this might be a better. I'm trying to give you guys the best camera view possible. That one's not so bad right there either. Okay, next step. Remove the nylon filament. Remove the nylon filament from the printer. Oh, okay, I've already done that. That was the sort of the loom stiffening filament, the nylon filament that they put in there. Okay. Okay, now we're going to turn the printer around here. So put it on this camera here so that, oh, sorry, this one here, so I don't make you dizzy while I turn everything around. A little bit of twisting and turning, and unfortunately I don't have enough cameras to cover all the angles. But I'm doing my best, I promise. Okay, there we are. So here we are. So what we're looking at now is we're going to remove the pidna probe by undoing this guy right here. Okay. So the probe should just slide out. Should just slide out. Let me give a little hand on that. There we go. Remove pidna sensor from the printer. Push the pidna cable out of the printer between X belt and smooth rod. There we go. Okay, fair enough. This pidna probe is very, there we go. It's in there tight. There we go. We have an old probe, which I don't know if that's good for anything or not, but we won't throw it away. Keep it. It's a spare part. Throw that down there. There we go. Okay. Removing the filament sensor. Okay, now we're on to some fun stuff, hopefully. I think for this one, I'm going to zoom back out here a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to do the 4-camera split. Andrew Osmond, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here, that's just as good as super chat. Thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate that very much. Too many drips here already. Oh, you guys are just having your old. Call the old probe John. Okay. Too funny. Okay. And again, let me know if you're having trouble hearing me at all. because this is kind of an omnidirectional, unidirectional microphone. So I'm hoping it's all working fine here. So, okay, now it wants me to release the filament sensor. So I'm going to remove this guy here, this little top cover. I'm going to see if maybe this one, yeah, this will give you a little better close. I'm going to switch camera views. Now, I don't know, would you guys prefer the split view screen, or I'll just switch cameras as I'm doing things? You guys tell me if you prefer otherwise. Let me get rid of the cable holder here too, just to get it out of the way. So we'll get this guy off. Filament sensor cover. Okay. There we go. And I believe that's a reprinted piece. So any pieces that are reprinted, I'm just going to toss off to the side. And then we're going to also okay, remove the FS cover from the extruder. I've done that. Using the Allen wrench, release the M28 screw holding the filament sensor. So that's going to be this little guy on the very top. So if we come in close on the very top, you can see this red piece here is the filament sensor, and there's a tiny, tiny screw holding that filament sensor in. So we're just going to release this because it comes with a new filament sensor, the upgrade kit. I've had this all apart before too. I was having issues with the filament sensor at one time, so I'm quite familiar with how this comes apart, but I'm just reading the instructions as anybody would. So we pop this out, it releases the filament sensor like that. Unplug the sensor and remove it from your printer. So that's just a simple matter of in here and then just squeezing this pin, and the sensor just comes out like so. So again, that's a replacement part that's coming with the upgrade kit. So we'll throw that aside. Okay, and the pieces that we're going to use again, I'm just going to put up here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now your printer may have a black or red version of the filament sensor. My version was red. The filament sensor that I had was red. The red is the newer, more optimized version. If you have the red one already, you can reuse it later. If you have the black one, keep it as a spare. Filament detection works same on both. Okay, so I've got the latest, so I obviously have a spare now. So, okay. Now, I think I missed taking a screw off here. Hold on 1 second. Did I miss taking one of the screws off? Oh yeah, I did. I needed to release this screw that's on this side of the thing here. Oops. This guy on this side. There we go. So this one has this screw has a spring on it, and this is basically the screw that puts the pressure on the extruder itself. So, and also keeps this flappy door on this side closed. Whoa! We have
Super Chat.
Thank you so much, Milan, for the $5. Sorry late to send it, but Brody had to handle his business like the YouTube streams. Oh, thank you so much, Milan. I appreciate the $5 super chat. That is greatly appreciated. It goes towards me being able to continually entertain you folks on a regular basis. Okay. Now we're going to remove the... Oh, I've got to turn this on the side again. Okay. I need more room. No, I don't. So let's see if I can get this camera. Whoops. I'm just trying to get you guys a little better camera view here. I can't on that one, so it'll have to be this guy. There we are. So now we're just going to remove this fan. Notice that that's all pretty loose on the carriage now because we removed that back plate that's holding it onto the carriage. Hutchmaker Space, hello from BC. Hello from Calgary, Hutchmaker Space. Welcome, neighbor. And Jeff Hutchins is here too, I see. Hi, Jeff. A couple of BC boys. I'm not keeping these screws in any order. I'm going to depend on the instructions to tell me which length screws go where when I put this back together. Okay, there we go. Fan is unscrewed. So we'll pop that fan out. We'll just hang that off to the side a little. Okay. Next one here is going to be, we're taking the part cooling fan off now. Let me make sure, remove the fan shroud. Yeah, so we got to take the, I've got a little bit different setup for the fan shroud here, so we're just going to end up taking all this apart anyways. There we go, the part cooling, this fan shroud, that's being replaced with a different one as well, this one. So watching to see if Tim can manage to keep in tech magic smoke. No magic smoke today. I actually know what I'm doing today. Then there's the part cooling fan off. I think I know what I'm doing today. We'll see. Okay. And it looks like I need to remove, whoops, this little orange piece here. What's holding this one on again? Right in here. And not quite loose enough. Any of you that have actually built the this Prusa MK3 kit from scratch will know that this is quite a fun experience to do. Okay, there we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Remove the print fan support from the extruder. Carefully pull both fans out on the heat bed. Put both fans on the heat bed. Well, I've carefully kind of laid both fans on the heat bed. So yeah, I think we're okay. We got to zoom out a bit here. I think there we are. There we go. Here's where we're at. Is that focused, guys? Oh man, this one camera's tippy. I need to get another one of these decent. I need to get decent tripods for these cameras so that they're not so tippy tips. You can hear the elephant hunting dog. Yeah, you've had your extruders apart a lot, ASI3D. Yeah, I've had this one apart several times. So I could do it blindly, but I'm following the instructions basically as an instructional type tutorial, I suppose. So just so you know where we are, we're at this stage right here now. So we're going to remove these two screws, which is going to allow the hot end to actually pop right out. So let's go on and put this camera here. And you know, the problem, I think the main problem is I have too many cameras going at once here. So I'm going to try and limit it. And I think this one here is going to be a decent one right here. There we go. So we're going to pop these two screws out here. This one. And this one. These are both long guys because they go right to the very back. And this uncovers the hot end completely. There we go. Look at that beautiful hot end. Well used. Okay. Carefully pull the extruder motor out onto the heat bed. So basically, not quite ready to come out yet. What have I not taken off? Oh, there's a couple of screws in the back here that I have to take off to release the extruder motor. just on the back side. There's 2 screws on the very top. Okay, one should be careful because it's going to, this is the other part of the feeder that fell right off. This is just kind of on this side here. The other part of the feeder comes off. These 2 long screws come out, and then the whole motor assembly with the hot end just pops out like so, just like that. And we'll set that down so it rests on the plate here. So there's where we're at right now. I can come in a little closer with this one for you guys. This is the tipsy camera. Let me lower it a bit. Oh, yeah, this is the tripod that I hate. I love you, John tripod, don't get me wrong. This tripod is awful. I have to tighten that screw with like vice grips in order for it to keep its position. Okay, this is annoying. Okay, bear with me. Hang on one sec, guys. I'm going to switch cameras here for 1 second. Let me just fix this thing up so it's a little more stable. There we go. Oh, man. There we go. And let's lighten the image up a bit there. That's better. There we go. Welcome to live streaming again, right? Okay. So we have everything apart, basically almost down to the bare bones. I know this part's going to be replaced. Let's put that back there. Most of this will be replaced, if not all of it. Okay. Remove the adapter printer with the ball inside from the extruder body. Be careful, the ball tends to jump out and roll away. So that's this part right up here. So there's a ball in this part, and what that ball does, if I can get you a little closer here. So yeah, in this part that I'm going to remove, and there's a ball in there, and what that ball does is detect when filament goes into the hot end. So I'm going to carefully remove it. And there we are. It just fell out in my hand. So that's the ball they were talking about right there, is a ball bearing. And I don't know if they gave me a spare one or not, so I'm being careful with that. So we're going to put those parts in our tray here. Okay. Release the M318 from the FS lever and remove it from the part. That's this one here. Okay, we're going to take this piece off. I think I can give you guys a better view here. There we go. Take this. Okay, and this is the lever. So basically, oh, see there's a magnet there. So what this lever does is when you put filament in, the ball forces the filament over, which causes a lever to slide over that way, which basically engages the automatic filament feeding in this system. So, and I believe there is a new part for this, but I'm going to put this aside for now anyways. And then we have to pull out, release the remaining 2 screws from the extruder body, which are these 2 here. And we've taken the complete extruder assembly off. I believe this is going to stay in place. Okay. And I'm going to remove these 2 screws here because I know that, I think they've given me all new screws anyways, but I'm just taking them off the parts just because. I'm just going to take these off just because. And I'm going to grab and see if I can't take out this little, there's a little magnetic, not a magnet, but there's I think it's a magnet right here, which is part of the, there we go, part of the feeding system. Throw that in there, and I know this is being replaced as well because I printed a new one of these. I don't know if I have to take the nuts out of these, the embedded nuts. I don't think so, because I think all new ones came in the kit. So there we are. We're down to bare bones, and I think we are ready. Let me just double check with the instructions. Hey, Llama, how are you? Little tape blue. I like that. Tim Witt. That's me. Okay. This step is obligatory. Okay, we're going to switch to see what they're saying here. Obligatory. So I guess I'm obligated to do this step. We want to remove the PTFE tubing because the MK3S Plus is using a shorter PTFE tube compared to the MK3S. Let's replace it now. Okay. Sounds good. So I'm going to take our hot end. We're going to remove the little blue clip. Try not to lose. I've lost so many of these little blue clips, and I just dropped it. There it is. We're going to pull down on the black collar, and we're going to pull up. We're going to pull down on the black collar and pull out the PTFE tube, like so. Put that one aside, and they obviously gave me a new one in the kit here, and I see 2 pieces of it in the kit here, so perfect. They've given me 2 pieces because they know me. They know I'll drop one. If only I had a way to make a new clip, I know. So we're going to grab a piece of the new PTFE out of here, right here, which is shorter, and we're going to insert it. Yeah, it's just a tad shorter. And we'll reinstall this blue clip. Hot end's in pretty rough shape, but I think I'll leave it at printing anyways. I just ran a whole bunch of, you can see the hot end's got a little bit of, well, we don't need that light on. The hot end's got some nice filament built up on it. I just ran a whole bunch of ASA and PETG black, so, but we're still printing, but maybe I'll give that a brush off once I heat it up. Everything in there should still be working fine. So there we go. Okay, so we replaced the PTFE tube. It was obligatory. I like that word, obligatory. Insert the new PTFE tube. We did. We made sure that the proper end was inserted with the little V groove. I knew that. Now they tell you that here, but I already knew that, so I'll just show you anyways. That the tip of the tube has a little bit of a V groove cut in it, and that is the one that goes in the hot end first. So it says it's got a rounded outer edge. This end must be inside the hot end, okay. And then the other end is, look at the other end where the tube is drilled inside. The shape of the edge is conical. This is the side where the filament enters the tube. This part must be outside the hot end. So basically what it meant was make sure I put that V carved bit, or the V carve, went in first, and then this is the flat end that stays outside the hot end. So I skipped over that because I kind of already knew that. So, okay, using secondhand, pull the collet out and only release then release the tube. This is crucial for hot end to work properly. The tube must not be able to move in or out. Again, all they're saying is that before you put the blue clip black on, okay, they're saying pull the collet out, make sure the tube is in, okay, and you pull the collet out by hand, not using the tube to pull it out, because you don't want that tube to move, because you can actually pull the tube out a little bit to get the clip into the collet, but you don't want to do that. You want that staying in there, and you want to use another hand and pull that collet out to flip, to stick in this little clip. In other words, you don't want to raise this tube at all once you put in the clip, because if you do, there will be a little gap down there between where the tube hits the all metal hot end or inside here. So, because this is an all metal hot end. So there we go. Oh, look, we have a spammer. Moderator block user. Unless somebody already did that, that's fine. We blocked it. But thanks, spammer. Bye. Have a good day. Okay, so we got the new PTFE tube in. Now we're going to look at the idler assembly. Push and pull the shaft, keep it for later. Okay, so we're actually going to do a new idler assembly. So that's this part here. let's, I don't think I need the light on this one. So this is the idler assembly that they're talking about. So we're going to push that shaft through the idler assembly, like so. Right through, right out. There we go. Don't lose it. Whew. It's fast. Oh, we'll throw it in here. We're going to pull this out. And keeping in mind that there's a little bearing inside there on each side. There's 2 of them. Okay. So make sure those things stay in there and in there. And then we're just going to put that aside. And put that aside like that. There we go. And because this piece, again, there's a new piece for this. Bye-bye. Okay, we've done that. Disassembly is finished. Before you move on, let's recap. Okay, so we throw away the old extruder plastic parts. You won't need them except the X carriage, which is still attached. So every part is not needed except, what I didn't take off was I didn't finish taking off this other part off the extruder. There we go. That's why we do the recap. One, we're replacing all the plastic parts except the X carriage back. 2. Okay. There we go. That part's gone too. Okay. And we'll put all these screws in the tray. And done. Keep both fans hot end with the replaced PTFE tube, nylon filament, and the X-axis belt. Okay. That's all we're keeping. Keep the motor mount. Keep the motor and both Bondtech gears, including bearings in the shaft. Disassemble the filament sensor with the cable. The disassembled filament sensor with the cable will be replaced with a new one. You can keep this one for future projects. Fasteners are included with the upgrade kit. However, keep the ones from the extruder as a spare. Now let's move on to the MK3S extruder upgrade. There we go. So we finished the disassembly. I said shaft, I know. You guys are such 4th graders. I'm kidding. So we're going to go back, and we're going to go right here to the MK3S extruder upgrade. Okay, difficulty is moderate again, 40 steps. Let's get through them. Okay. Most important and hardest chapter, take your time, don't rush. And this was the same, this was the quote unquote most important, hardest chapter when I was building this as well, was building the extruder properly. So yeah. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to get the extruder body parts preparation. So let's get these parts ready as it says. Hang on 1 second here. Did I miss anything? The bag with fasteners includes MK320s. We have 2 new magnets. We have a new ball. So we do have new balls, a new ball. So now we have a pair of balls. And we've already put the shorter PTFE tubing in. They said it. Pay attention to the cable management. If you miss some important steps, you need to disassemble the extruder. There we go. Okay. So we're going to get out. We're going to grab, which camera do I want to use here? Doesn't matter. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. We're going to grab the printed parts that I did. Oh, here we go. This will be a little better. There we go. There's all the parts I printed. These parts were all downloadable from prusaprinters.org. And I downloaded G-code files, so I didn't have to do any thinking. Downloaded the G-code files, loaded them into the printer, and boom, done it. Printed its own replacements. So there we go. So it's asking me to prepare this part like that, and then it wants this little guy right. Is it this one? No, it's yeah. There's so many tiny parts here too. And then this one with the little hole for the ball, and this little lever part here, right there. Okay. Bangs head. Why would you bang your head? Jealous much? Hey, Mike, and never let the machines win, Mike. Thanks for popping in. Sorry if I missed anybody else here. Thinking causes wrinkles. Best to avoid it. Yeah. Okay, for the following steps, please prepare. So I got to get my screws and everything out now too. So let's just grab all the hardware pieces out of here. This might take me a little longer than I thought. You know, it's not quite like putting a whole printer together, but hey. There's the magnets right there. So we'll put that aside here. I wonder if the overhead would just be a better view just to have it for now, just like this. Yeah, let's just do this for now. At least you can kind of still see what I'm doing. We'll dump all the screws out here. Well, they give us new everything, spring everything. I don't have to use any of the old hardware. Nice. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then we have another package, and I'm gonna guess for now that these are spares, just because it doesn't say spares, but it says well, they might not be spares. I'll dump them out anyways. Let's just dump them out anyways. 27 people sticking around. Awesome, guys. And all those. There we go. That's it. That's an awful big bag just for a few. Oops, this way. That's an awful big bag for like a hand, just about 6 little screws. Anyways. And then we have, I can probably hold off on these pieces just for now, but I'll just put these pieces up and off to the side here. Okay. Okay, so it wants me to prepare the ball. Did I dump the ball? I don't know if I dumped the ball out yet. I imagine that the ball is in one of these other packages. Let's see. No, that's the Y carriage kit. That's the new filament sensor, which is the red one, which I don't need because they say if I already have the red one, I can replace it. So I can keep that as a spare. And I'm assuming there will be a ball. No. Whoa. Make sure if I dump a bag, it's not open. There we go. No. I don't see the ball. Maybe they didn't give me a spare ball. Oh, they did. There's the ball right there. There's the ball. So I need the ball. You like the camera. So guys, tell me in all honesty, would you rather this view here or would you rather this view here? Most popular answer wins. So anyways, so we have the ball. You're going to lurk. That sounds good. Thanks for popping in. Except the Aussie. Okay, so let's me keep. We need one M318 and one M310. M318 and M310. And fortunately, I have a screw guide from these guys. I have a screw guide that tells you the lengths of the screws because I am terrible at guessing screw lengths. M318 and an M310. I'm going to guess this is a 18. And I was right. The M318 and an M310 should be this one. And this is the guy that just said he's terrible at guessing. And he got those two right. Look at that. Boom. You like the 5-cam layout? Then I'll leave the 5-cam layout. You're the only one that answered, and you're the first one, Mike. So we will leave the 5-cam layout. And I'm right in the middle, keeping an eye on you. Let me grab a drink. This may go on longer than 2 hours, but it's worth taking the time to do a proper upgrade. Okay, then I need 2 nuts and 2 square nuts and 2 hex nuts. So there's the hex nuts. And square nuts is 1. And then there's my 2 square nuts. 2. Okay. And then we need the short and the long magnets, which are in this case right here. Short and long magnets. Why is this? This is a terrible. let's see, the light doesn't help on that. So I'm going to see if I can bring that up a little bit. I didn't want the light. Stop. Bring that up just a little bit higher. I know it's hard to see with black on black, but yeah, it's all right. At least you can kind of see the... Okay, this camera is weird. I squeeze it and the light comes on. How do the magnets work? I'll show you when I put this back together, but basically the magnets are part of the sensor, so that when on a Prusa, it's got automatic filament loading, so that when you put the filament in the top, the magnets work in conjunction with the little ball bearing, and then these little two pieces right here and here. And basically what happens is when you put the filament in, the ball bearing forces the filament over, and it causes the magnets to sort of connect together, which triggers the filament sensor in there, and it says, okay, I've got filament in, and it automatically feeds the filament in. That is a rudimental explanation of it, but that's how it works. Okay, so now we're on to the extruder body assembly. So we're on to this step right here, where we're going to start putting the nuts and bolts and screws, etc., in the filament body. Okay, so let's go back to the view people like. So we're going to take this guy here. Oh, let's see, it's so hard to see that because it's black right here, but that's okay. It is what it is. And we're going to insert the square nuts into the body here. 1 and 2. These all have nut cutouts, or whatever you want to call them, for the nuts to go in. Tweezers are always good to have handy, because you want to make sure that it goes in properly and straight. So unlike my unsuccessful attempt right here, we're going to do that. There we go. And I just like to give them a little bit of a push in. And the tolerances on this, if your printer is printed decent tolerances, they should not fall out. They should just sit in there nice and snug. Okay. And you like the 5.2, Chris? Good. Well, that's good. I'm glad this layout works then. That way I don't have to worry about switching different camera views and such. And, that's been one of my, not worries, but it's always been a concern of mine, is my camera view. So maybe I'll get used to this 5 camera view. So then we need a square nut. So what's that pink one? Flip the extruder body and insert 1 3S nut. Okay, so we need a square nut in this hole right here. Square nut in the square hole here. And again, if you're missing something here, the instructions are extremely easy to follow on the documents that Prusa provides. So we push that one in, make sure it's good. When I do this, I like to actually take a screw and just make sure that nut has lined up, which it has, because I'd rather do it now than when it's on the printer and realize, oh, I didn't push that in far enough. So especially with these ones like this, where you're putting it in and then it's got to line up with putting a screw in the hole on the side here, right? So yeah, so that one's lined up. Okay. And then what does that say there? It's talking about the red. Flip the extruder. Oh, secure the nut using the M310 screw. Tighten the screw slightly. Later on, we'll need to add the super pidna. Oh, okay. So basically what it's saying is put the M310 screw in here, and we're going to tighten that slightly with the right size hex key. Tighten it slightly, and then we're just going to leave that in there because that's where the pidna probe is going to go, and then we'll tighten that on once the probe is in there. Okay. Take the 2 M3 nuts and insert them, which I've done. Okay, ensure correct alignment of the nuts using the Allen key, which I've done. Basically what they're saying in here is just to make sure that, the nuts are in there and aligned using a key, which I didn't do, but I just did. They're nice and straight. You don't want them in there crooked because you'll never grip them later. Flip the body and insert an M3 square nut. Whoops. So we flip the body, and there's a slot right there on top here for a square M3 nut. They're right on top there. This one I'm going to use the tweezers for. And boom. Oops, see. Patience. There we go. And push it in. And again, I'm going to ensure that it lines up, because if you look at the end there right now, that's not in far enough. So I would have trouble with that later. So I'm going to ensure that I take something pointy, push it in a little further, grab a bolt, and ensure that I can actually, there we go, get a grip on the nut just like that. That way I know it's lined up perfectly for when we go to reassemble this thing. Okay. Rotate grommet C. Insert tab into slot B. You guys are funny. Well, I hope I'm not boring you too much. Okay, and then now we have to take the smaller magnet, 10 by 6 by 2, and insert carefully into the FS lever. A majority of the magnet will be hidden in the printed part. This is the FS2 lever, this little piece right here, bottom left screen. So we're going to take the smaller magnet. Let's pop this open. They've just put these in an SD card case. So there's two lengths of magnets here. Take the shorter one. And there's a slot on there's two slots. There's a slot on this side of this and a slot on this side. Obviously, one slide, you'll never fit that in. So it makes it pretty idiot proof for people like me as to which side to put it in. Then we slide it all the way in as tight as we can. Just like that. So majority of the magnet is in the body, and there's just a little bit of a magnet sticking out there. It looks like there's even less. So I'm going to actually put it on the bench and give it a push. Make sure it's all the way in. There we go. It went in a fair bit more. So yeah, just make sure that goes all the way in. And that looks just like the diagram that's on there too. There we go. That camera's not focusing that well, but you get the idea. Okay. Printing 2 types of clocks. Cool. Hey, David Wilson. No medical emergencies yet. No, we're doing good. Okay. Insert the FS lever in the body. Okay, so we have the body here. Let me see if I can get this a little closer for you guys so you can get an eye of what's going on here. So we have the body here. And I'm just looking at this direction right on the screen right there is what we're doing here. Okay. So secure the part with an M318, tighten it, but ensure the lever can move freely. So the lever goes in, magnet up right into this part right here. Okay. And then we use the M318. Okay, I want to make sure that's right. There's no nut on the other side of that, which is interesting that there's not a nut, that it looks like it just self-taps. Make sure the following procedure done right, otherwise the filament sensor won't work. Okay, yeah, so this looks like it's just self-tapped into here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, yeah, okay. So this just must self-tap. So let's tighten this in. So I want to make sure it's, let's see, it says tighten it, but ensure the lever can move freely. So we're just going to, there we go. We'll go. Focus, there we go. Hey, red light. Okay, we're getting down to the point of no return. Now again, making sure this lever can move freely, which it can. Tighten it a bit more. Still moves freely. Okay, not quite. So we're going to back it off a hair. And a little bit more back off. There we go. Now that lever can still move freely, and there's no up and down movement. So that's basically what we're looking for, is that can move freely, okay, without over tightening that. Now this next step is critical, otherwise the filament sensor will not work. So basically what this is telling us is right here. I messed this up when I very first did my build, so this is kind of worth pointing out. And this was a long time ago. So basically what they're saying here is that the magnets, you don't want them to be attractive. Well, you don't want anybody to be, you don't want them to be attracted to each other. You want the magnets to push each other apart. Okay, because if they're attracted to each other, the filament sensor is not going to work. So they got to actually push each other apart. The reason being, you think about it, if you put filament in and the magnets are attracted to each other, it's going to keep the sensor activated. So yeah, there's still filament in here. And hence the ball bearing. So you put the filament in, the ball bearing pushes it over. It causes the magnets to come closer together, which activates the filament sensor saying, yes, there's filament in, but when the filament runs out, boom, the magnets push apart from each other, deactivates the sensor and says, hey, wait, I'm out of filament. So that's kind of how that works. That's not kind of how that works. That's exactly how that works. So you've not used, hey, Will Bailey, how? You haven't used your 3D printer in months. You wonder if it'll work? Oh, it sure will. I'm sure it will. You just maybe have to dust it off and do some lubrication, etc. So, okay, so we're going to put this magnet in. We want to make sure. So there's only two ways it can go. So right there, it is right there. It's attracted to it. Right there, it is. Let's see. Well, so now this is real easy to see if it's in right. Put it in this slot, and you see how it pushes. It's hard to see here. Let's see. So right here, when I put it in the slot, you see how it pushes the sensor away? That's the way we want it to work. So that when this magnet goes in this slot like this, that sensor, when I let go, it moves that away like that automatically. It's a brilliant way to create this switch, right? So there we go. So that's in the correct way. And that one, I think, is already in as far as it'll go. Yeah, I can't push that in any further, although I want to make sure without breaking the magnet. There we go. So there we go. That's working. Okay. Next step, take the printed part adapter and insert the steel ball. So that's this little part right here. Sorry about that. And then we're going to insert the steel ball right into there. Okay. So again, this is the part where the filament is going to go down through this hole on the top. It's going to force the steel ball out. So I don't have a piece of filament handy, or I'd show you. Oh, yes, I do. I know I don't have to show you guys this, but there might be somebody watching this video that wonders how this printer operates or how the filament sensor works on this. So it might help somebody out, which is why I'm going into a little detail with it. So just bear with me. The idea behind this is that somebody comes across this video and gets some help out of it. So if I put the filament in here, it's going to push that steel ball out. You can kind of see the steel ball coming out. And that steel ball is going to push on this one magnet here, causing the magnet to go over, boom, triggering the sensor saying there's filament in it. When the filament runs out, boom, the sensor's off and there's no filament. So there we go. Okay, so we got the steel ball in here. Hope you got that, Marcus, and if you want me to re-show you that, I will. But I'm going to, once I get this put together, I'll show it before I assemble the extruder, because I think it's a critical step in understanding how this filament sensor on the Prusa works. It's a brilliant piece of, it's just really brilliant thinking the way they've done this. Okay, so then on this step here, we put the part with the ball in it, making sure that we have, there's two different size openings. This one's got a little tapered opening, and the other side doesn't have a tapered opening, and then the ball sits on this side here. Okay. So we're going to take this guy, and it is going to go kind of slides in, because you see on the top of this piece here, there's like a little, oh, it's hard to see because it's black, but there's a little groove. Right where my finger is, there's a little groove. And on this part where the ball bearing goes in, you can see it's kind of got that little groove sticking out. Well, that groove has to line up with the ball bearing going in this way. So it just slides, just kind of slides in there just like that. Okay, so that groove slides in and it's kind of in there, boom, like that. Now, if I take that piece of filament again, where did I put it? Where did I put it? Did I throw it out? No. I might have thrown it out. It's worth pausing to show these steps, and even though it's adding to my time, but that's fine. It's worth it. So now if I take this piece of filament again, you'll see what's going to happen. When I push the filament in, watch the magnets. Okay, it pulls the magnets. Okay, and when the filament runs out, that magnet comes back apart because of the opposite attraction force on the magnet. So that triggers the sensor saying there's filament. When the filament runs out, that magnet pushes this magnet, forces this magnet back over, away from the sensor. That's that little red thing we took out earlier, and that's what's going to say, hey, I'm out of filament. So it's brilliant. It's a really neat system. So there we go. Okay. In case of any rough surface, roll the ball to all sides to make sure it can move smoothly. I didn't do that. So that's just saying when the ball is in here, just make sure that you can actually roll the ball smoothly, because you want that ball to be able to roll freely when there's filament inserted in here. So I already looked in here earlier and I cleaned out any imperfections, but there were none because it printed really clean. So yeah, so that ball can move nice and freely. So we'll just slide this back in. Like so. Make sure everything's moving again, and that part's assembled right there. Okay. Now it says place the adapter printer part together with the steel ball, which we did. See the rounded protrusion, which we showed you. The rounded protrusion must fit into the groove on the body. Top surfaces of both parts should be almost aligned, basically meaning that the top of here, and it's almost perfectly aligned on the top here, so there's no bumping, nothing like that. So boom. There we go. Okay. Extruder motor parts preparation. Okay, so the next part we're going to prepare is this one here, right here. This is the part that's going to mount onto the actual stepper motor. Hey Ben, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. Okay, and we're going to need 2 M3x10 screws, and I believe I've got that down. Let me double check. I always like to double check my screw sizes. So M3x10, that's one. That's the right size. That's a great little guide that Prusa gives you. This is almost a document I should put on my site or a site somewhere people can print out, because it gives you all the screws and bolts and everything in the sizes, so you can actually just lay it right on the paper without having to guess your screw sizes. I'm bad for guessing the wrong screw sizes all the time. Okay, so we have that piece. We have 2 of those screws. And we take the extruder motor now. I'm going to unplug the extruder. Oh, I can't unplug the extruder motor from the extruder. It doesn't unplug. It's sort of fixed to it. So I wonder if I can pull this over a little bit. Oh, I can. There's lots of wires, so I can pull the extruder motor right over. Perfect. So we have the extruder motor sitting this, so the wires coming out towards me. Okay. And this piece goes on kind of just like this. Okay. And then we're going to use those 2 M310 screws to put in this hole here and this hole here. Resist the temptation to place a screw in the 3rd hole, which is this one. They just want screws put in this hole right here. You don't want to, you can make sure they're snug, but don't over tighten, because you can crack the part. It's printed in PETG, but yeah, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it. And like so, no cracking noises. It's always good. Okay. So that's done just like that. So that's that little part there. Okay. Metric ruler to measure the screws. Yeah, I like that little paper guide. It's great. I may actually print that on a piece of plastic. So I have like a plastic one laminated or something. So we'll see. Okay, and then basically it's saying there's a channel for the filament inside the printed part. Make sure the teeth of the pulley are aligned with it. Okay, so, and they are. So basically this might be harder to show. Let's see, how can I show you that? So basically you can see on the extruder, the filament goes down this path right here in that little groove there. And there's a channel on the printed part. So what it's saying is to ensure that when the filament's going through that channel on the printed part, so I've inserted a piece of filament in there, that it's lined up with that gear. So obviously nothing has changed on here. So you can loosen this gear and slide it up and down in order to line that filament channel up. But it doesn't look like I have to move anything because I've put that filament in the filament channel and it's lined up perfectly. So yeah, there we go. Otherwise, you're going to have major issues feeding your filament if that channel's not lined up with that. And that is just bang on right there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next step is guiding the IR sensor cable. Okay, so we're up at the printer here. So we are going to be looking up at this camera here, bottom right screen. The IR sensor cable is already guided. I didn't take it apart. So what this next step entails, I'm just going to move this extruder motor back a little bit here. Cable management's interesting on this thing. So what they're saying now is they're talking about the IR sensor cable right here, and I didn't remove it at all. That's the piece that plugs into the cable here on top, and it basically they're saying is to make sure you run that cable up there so it's smooth and it's not interfering with the surface of that plate at all, which it's not. Fortunately, I didn't have to take that off. Okay, and then again, they're talking about running the cable so it runs underneath out of the proper groove over here. And again, I haven't taken that off at all, and that's running out the proper side, which is basically below the bottom belt and above the rod. So basically below this bottom belt and above the rod, and it runs out the other side there. So again, I didn't take that off at all, so I'm not worried about adjusting that at all. So many angles your brain can't comprehend. Well, we're trying. This angle here I'm kind of done with, so let me actually give you a different angle in the bottom left one here. If I can do that without interfering with the other sides, and if I turn this light on, look at that. Maybe you get that angle over here. Maybe that's a little too close. There we go. So you can watch whichever angle tickles your fancy the most. Haha. That's what I get for having 4 decent cameras now. Actually, 5 decent cameras. Well, the overhead camera is an old Logitech camera, which is working pretty good, which is the one on the top left here. It's not bad. Okay, so we've done those steps. We've ensured that wire is run properly. Now we're going to hot end. Make sure you have replaced the hot end PTFE tube, which we did. We need 2 M310 screws and an M340 screw. So I now know what size the M310 screws are. So I'm going to prepare 1 M310, 2 M310s, and an M340. 30 M340. Oh, that's a long one. That is that one right there. Okay. Your fancy is not tickled. Oh. Below the belt and above the rod. What are you implying? Oh, God, stop it. I just got that. Oh, boy. Okay, the hot end's already assembled and ready. We have the 2 M3s. We have the long one. Okay. We're at this stage right here, guys. So we're basically getting ready to assemble the extruder body, putting it back onto the plate on the back. So we're going to have the two pink ones here, I believe, are going to be the M310s, and this one which is going to hold it on. What are we pointing to in the blue here? Okay, I think they're just saying, let's just see what they're saying here. Place the extruder assembly body actuator. Do not pinch the IR sensor cable between both parts, which we'll make sure we don't. Okay. Yeah. Secure it with two M310 screws. Okay. Let's go back here. So that's this body part here. It goes right onto here. And what they're saying is make sure that this cable right here is not pinched at all. Okay, so which it won't be, because actually I didn't take anything off. So make sure that's clear. The two M310 screws are going to go here. Let me get the one started. Okay, maybe. I'm sure the nuts should still be back there. Oh, let me just. Oh, I was in the wrong hole. Come on, get in the hole. There we are. There's one. I had that up a little too high. I was in the wrong holes. Although that looks. Does that look right? This shouldn't have a lip up top. Maybe it should. Maybe it is right. Anyways, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's the only way it can go. Something doesn't look right there. Huh. No, but if I look at the picture, I think that is right. Good evening, menu. Good evening, menu 6873. Welcome. Something just doesn't seem. Yeah, I guess that's right. It just looks off for some reason, and this one screw didn't screw in as tight, so it has me. I wonder if there is a recess on this for that. Yeah, there is too, I think. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't have to go in all the way. Okay. This one screw right here didn't go in as far as this one, but they're both M310s. I better double check. Because, well, it goes from M310 to M312. I'm sure that's not a 12. I'll just double check. Even though I said, yeah, I know it's an M310, I can tell by looking at it now. I like to better safe than sorry. Yeah, that's the right size. It's just odd that it's sticking out a little further than the other one. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, okay, good. Okay. We're okay. Place the hot end in the body. Okay, place the hot end in the body. We got the wires coming out this side. Okay, hot end goes in. Okay. Oh, okay. Anyways, let's see what the next step is. Must fit into the groove. Print the printed part. That's fine. The hot end cables should point to the left. And then we're going to put the extruder motor over top of the hot end. So let's do that. What it tends to do, and I've done this when I've taken this apart, it tends to want to twist to one side. That's all right, because we can always move it over a little bit after. So, and then we basically take the extruder motor, and it goes up into here, and just like that, and that's sort of what's sort of securing the hot end in here. There we go. Now, I'm pretty sure I have to put the screw in from the back side. So that's what this long 40 millimeter screw is. We come in from the back side. I don't have a camera view on the back, I'm sorry. But we come in from the back side on the top left, goes through, And that's that third hole that they said not to put the screw in, that they said you might be tempted to, but leave that third hole empty. And we screw this one in, and that's what's going to sort of hold the whole assembly together. There we go. Wrong hole. How often do you do that, Tim? Well, Milan, we'll see. We'll talk about that. That's a whole other stream. Okay. Filament alignment check. So basically now, I'm going to try and get a good view here. Let me zoom in with this camera. Let me zoom in with this one here. This is really cool camera for this reason. I can zoom in so close. Top right camera there. So let me focus that. Okay, there we go. So filament alignment check. This is really critical. I remember this from building this printer initially. So push the filament from the top through the Bondtech into the PTFE tube, check that the alignment, and if needed, loosen the set screw on the pulley and adjust the position. Tighten the set screw, blah, blah, blah. So basically what it's saying is when we put the filament through the top, push it down, whoops, right into the PTFE tube. So if you can see that, maybe this other close-up camera can give you a better view here. Yeah, right in there. So we can see that the filament is aligned with the notch on the gear that's on the extruder motor there. So when I pull that out, you'll see that it lined up perfectly with that gear when I push it down into the PTFE tube. And basically what it's saying, that if it's not aligned, you got to loosen that gear and align that and make sure that gear is aligned perfectly. So when I pull it out, you'll see that it's aligned in there perfectly. So there we go. Okay. That's what that was all about. Let's zoom this one back out. Focus. There we go. Turn this around. Okay. You leave to make a coffee, come and return to complete debauchery. Ah! Ah, you guys. Okay, we've made sure the filament path is aligned. Okay, now we are going to prepare. Let's flip over. We're going to prepare these parts here, which is the other part of the extruder. Okay, extruder the idler parts. This is the part that I said was critical. I don't think they gave me all new parts for this, but we will see. New idler one. So the pink is the new idler. So the new idler part is right here. Here, let's move this camera. We'll do the close-up one here. Bottom left camera will show the parts I'm preparing. So that's the new idler here. Boy, they've really redesigned that one a little bit. Yeah, cool. Okay, and then we need the Bondtech without the hole for the set screw. That's this guy here. This one right here. Okay, and bearing, the two bearings are in there. So there's a bearing in this one side here, and there's a bearing in the other side here. These two bearings is what they're talking about, these little guys. They just go on either side of the Bondtech here. Okay, like that. And the shaft, we have the shaft and an M3 nut. I don't know why they need a nut, but there's a nut and an M340 screw. M340 screw, which is this one. Oh yeah, the nut, that's right, because the nut goes in. So this nut, I don't even have to look at the instructions. This nut goes right in there. Push that in. Because what's going to happen, if you look up on the top bottom right camera, is that the the long M340 is going to come through this side, and it's going to secure this cover with the Bondtech gear on this side. So, okay. Okay, we've already put the bearings in. We've already inserted the nut. Okay. So now we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to align it like this. And we're going to align this gear in here like this. And we're going to push the rod through, the very tight rod through. And I'm just going to use this very carefully so I don't cut myself, and make sure that rod is inserted. I can go a little further. I'll actually just use maybe the tip of this screw. There we go. And then that should still spin nice and freely. Okay, just like that. Okay, David, thanks for popping in anyways. I appreciate it. Have a good, ow. Have a good night. That didn't hurt. I just want to make sure that there we go, that rod is popped in there securely, and it is. There we go. Okay. Ooh. Almost drew blood. Not quite. Place your finger on the bearing and ensure it can rotate freely. Yeah, which I just did. There we go. Okay. I may have to finish this next week. This is taking me longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. Okay, place the extruder idler in place and secure using an M340 screw. Okay, so let me turn this guy around to the side so you can kind of see what's going on here. Let's get this camera up to this angle right there, and the light on. It is perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is take this assembly. This kind of goes in just up like this. This M340 comes in the back here. Okay, and then we screw that in to secure this part, this door. Just like that. So this guy should, well, it might be a little bit, if I loosen this off just a hair, it doesn't have to swing super freely, but yeah, so this basically just opens up. This is how we get in to clear or check the filament path. And then that closes. There's going to be another screw that comes in from the other side here that's going to secure this door closed. And the spring-loaded screw that goes through here is going to give you the pressure on the, basically it's your filament pressure, or the pressure between the gears on the filament. So, okay. Okay, now we're going to get the extruder cover part preparation. Extruder cover part preparation. Let's turn this back around. Let's bring this back down to my table. We're going to now work on this part here. Is it backwards? No. No, that door is not backwards at all. That is right. That's correct. Is that what you were asking, if the door is on backwards? No, this is on proper. So actually what they do here too is you can actually, so that when this is closed, there's actually a little, hard to see there, but the little window there actually, so you can actually look in and see your filament running through as well. So, but that's not backwards at all. No, that's on there perfect. Okay, so we're going to prepare that part, a nut, okay, and a M310 screw. M3, oh, that's not a 10, this is a 10. M310, M3 nut, and an M340 screw. Is the 40 this long one? Again, I'm going to measure to make sure. M340. Okay, and the idler spring. So the spring, so we have a little spring here, and this spring goes on the M340 screw. That's the one I was telling you about that's going to actually put the tension on the between the two gears where the filament path goes. And that's going to hold that little door closed. Yeah, it would be a few steps to undo for sure. Okay. Extruder cover part preparation. So this is the extruder cover right here. So we'll just push these few pieces aside here. If I move up a little bit here, I'll be able to view this there. So the extruder cover part right here. That light may be too much glare. Yeah, I think that's better there. Is that even focused anymore? Yeah. There we go. Okay. We need an M3S nut. So we have a nut. We need a M340 screw, 2 of them. 2 of the 40 screws are right here. And slide the nut all the way in. Oh, we need a square nut too. Oh, it's an M3S nut. We don't need it. It's an S nut, so it's a square nut we need right here. So this, we are sliding a square nut into the side here. Ooh, that's tight. Okay. I'm going to use, again, my tweezers just to push that down. Ensure it's all the way in, and I'm going to use one of these M340s to align it. There we go. It's all right. That one's good. And slide the nut all the way in, ensure correct alignment. Leave the whole arm assembly empty for now. We'll use it later while assembling the print fan. Okay, so the arm assembly, we can leave that aside for a minute. Okay. Okay, so we're okay. Now, next step. Who are you calling a square? Chris Travis, see you later. Take care. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. I know it's running a little late. 7:30. We're not quite done my 8 o'clock yet. So, okay, extruder cover assembly. We are on to this step, guys. Just finishing this up again. And again, if you're at home or you're wanting to do this to your MK3 to upgrade it, it's going to go much quicker when you're not talking on a live stream and explaining it. So, and again, I'm reading the instructions and showing them, even though I know how to put this back together, but I'm following the instructions as if I've never done this before. So, so it may be taking me a long time, but in reality, it's not going to take a whole long time to do this. But you do want to take your time either way. So place the extruder cover onto the extruder body. Again, make sure all 3 parts are properly aligned. So the extruder cover onto the extruder body. So basically what we're doing is this guy is going back on. So there's only really one way this can go. There, let me get this camera back up for a view here. There we go. So you guys can choose the view you like. So this little bottom part here, the little curved part, actually goes around this, and it's going to line up sort of with the bottom part there. I know that, yeah, makes it sound simple, but really just ensure that these top 2 screw holes are lined up with the 2 screw holes that are under here, and you'll be and Bob will be your uncle. So yeah. So basically simple, just like that. That little indent is new. Did they have that on the old part? I'm just curious. No, that looks a little different. There's a difference between the 2. I think that's for better airflow or something. So if we look at the difference on the top right camera there, so they've done some more cutouts there. And I think that just allows for better airflow or something. So yeah, they've made a few changes to that. Quite a few changes, actually. So, okay. So that goes on like that. It's going to fall off for now because I'm pretty sure it's going to tell me the next step is to secure it with 2 M340 screws. Insert 2 M340 screws and tighten them, but be careful. They are slightly longer than the thickness of the entire assembly. So basically we're going to put an M340 in here. Okay. We'll secure it. Oops, come on. I'm not going to quite tighten that one up all the way. I'll stick the other one in. Whoa, almost dropped it. Good catch between the knees. And the knees for the save. And we'll tighten this one in. And then we'll snug that up. And we will snug this one up. There we go. Okay. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, but we don't want to miss it if they do. There you go. Take the M3N nut and insert it all the way into the print fan support. It is crucial. The M3N nut and all the way into the print fan support. So basically there's a nut here. It's the M3 nut. And in the back of this part here, this goes right into this part in the back here, because that's where we end up screwing the hot end fan, or the part cooling fan will end up screwing up into that. So it's just saying to ensure that this nut is in place and secure, and it is. Okay. Oops, that's not the place I was supposed to put it. Okay. One will go there, trust me. What they were saying was in this part. You see in the top right screen, they were saying in this part. So I'm going to put another one in there. I just skipped ahead a step or two is all. So we're just going to ensure that this nut goes in to this part like that sort of thing. Yeah. Although that's very, very... Oh, it went in there real loose. Oh, there it is. Okay. And let's make sure it's actually in there straight. And we're going to just go through here and ensure that, yes, it is in there. So basically what I'm doing is just putting this bolt through and making sure that that nut is pulled into place in there properly, as they were asking. So anyways, I'm not a very descriptive person in that sense. So forgive me. Anyways, good. Use the screw pulling technique, which I just did. Place the support on the extruder and ensure the inclined part is facing down towards the nozzle. Okay, let's see, this picture's not super clear now, so I just have to think about this for a minute. Where is this going? Okay, so this, I'm looking at this instruction right here, just so you see where I'm looking. So I've put that nut in there like this in this piece, and now I'm going to blow this, and this is saying place the support on the extruder and ensure the inclined part is facing down towards the nozzle. So let's blow that picture up. Okay, I see. That's that third hole there under there. And so basically what they're saying is to ensure that this part is angled down facing the nozzle. So pretty simple. Put the M310 screw in here. They don't give you much room here, much wiggle room. Oh, wow. Oh, this hole, I just have to ream this hole out a little bit here. Hold on. There we go. There was a little bit of filament in the hole here, and the M310 would not go through it properly through this hole. Now it should be fine. It should slide in there nice and easy now. There we go. There's not much room to get a wrench in there. I'm going to grab my another wrench here. There they are. Grab my Wera wrenches and find the right size, which I think is the lime green. Yes, it is. Because I got the ball end on this, so it's going to be a little easier to get this ball end wrench in to tighten this one M310 from the top here. There we go. There we go, just like that. Right in there, just like that. Okay. And now pre-tensioning the extruder idler. This is where this spring, this M340 with the spring comes in. Okay. Oh, that's not a bad angle there. So this goes through this side. Let's see if I can do this blindly. Right there. All the way through. Oh, probably in the wrong hole. Come on. I better look. I better look. See what I'm doing. Oh. There we go. Okay, and then we tighten this. So this is going to hold this other door on the other side closed. Okay, let's see what it says as far as tightening. Since there is only the one screw, you need to introduce a large force. The head of the screw should be aligned or slightly below the surface. So what they're saying is on this side, the head of this screw that's going in here should be lined with or slightly inclined into the surface in order to have the correct tension on that spring. So first of all, let's make sure this door is closed and that we're actually gripping the nut here. And there we go. Okay, and so we're going to make sure that that screw is aligned and just slightly below the surface there now. So that basically has closed this door on this side and has put tension on that spring so that the filament path has some tension to it now. Okay. 30 people still checking around. Good. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I know this is kind of boring for some, but hey, if somebody gets something out of it, I've done my job. Okay. That part's done. Hot end fan assembly. M314 screws, 3 of them. Okay. These look like M314s right here. Oh, those are too long. See? Me and my guessing. That's an M314 right there. 1, 2. No, that's, yeah, 2. And where's the third 14 millimeter? This one? Look at that. 3 of them. Just like that. Okay. Guide the extruder motor cable like in the picture. Okay, so here's where we have to get a little bit fussy with the wiring. Whoops. Let's get this back over here. There we go. What is this? Oh, it's leaning over the edge of that. That's why. Sorry, guys. A little bit of a, there we go. You can feel your brain getting bigger. Good. So this part is the extruder motor cable. There's a little bit of a groove right up underneath here, and you kind of have to sort of feed the extruder motor cable. You can sort of see how it just sort of sits up under that groove there above where the fan is going to go. Okay. And it's kind of being stubborn right now. What I like to do, I'm going to grab a couple little zip ties here. This isn't in the instructions, but this is just me. I'm going to throw a little zip tie on here. And just before it enters where it's supposed to go in there, I'm just going to zip tie those cables together so they kind of form a little bundle there. And I'm going to snip off that little pipe, just a mini zip tie, just a tiny little guy. I don't think that'll interfere. No, that might interfere with the fan. I better not do that. Hindsight, that might interfere with the fan. So I'm not going to do that. So this part, all they're saying in the instructions, there's a lot of warnings and cautions and so forth. If you look at the picture, the fan has two sides. Okay, the side with the label is basically facing into the printer. So you got to make sure that goes, blah, blah, blah. So all they're saying is basically try not to mix the wires up. So there's the wires on the top of the fan also slide up into that groove. So basically what we're doing is ensuring that the fan is going to sit flat against this and that all the wires are going to sort of nicely nestle up into that groove, almost sort of something just like that. Okay, just so the fan is, the holes are going to line up and the wires are not being pinched anywhere, and they're all going to end up coming down. Let's see which way they're going to go through. It looks like so this is the part that confused me last time as well, is which way these things run through. But it looks like, I don't know if these go in between here. Oh yeah, because they come down and around. There's another little groove that will feed them so that they go between the belt and the rod. I don't know who made fun of that before, but anyway, so there's basically an L path. So you're going over, down, and straight back. Okay, so this just requires a little finesse, a little patience to make sure these wires are all tucked in correctly. So up into that groove on top of the fan. It's all coming together right there. So that kind of, you get the idea right there. I think on that bottom left camera, you can kind of see how that's going to go. Okay. So we're going to grab those screws. And I believe it's these top three. Bottom right one we leave for now, I believe. Where's my screwdriver? Where's my hex key? This one. Okay, I'm just going to secure that in there right now. I want to make sure. Yeah, we know. We push them up. And yeah, it's what I thought. So it's this one, and this one. We leave this one for now. So the 3M14 screws go here. And again, making sure the cable's not pinched anywhere, which it looks good to me here. And there we go. So these are, again, are self-tapping into that other part. So want to snug them up, but not over tighten, because with the self-tapping ones, you can actually strip them real easy. Okay, and one more. Come on, get in the hole. Okay, that doesn't want to go in. What's blocking? I'm not pinching anything, I know that. I made sure of that. So why aren't you going in? Let me check with the small one. Straight through, no problem. Yeah, should work. Just snug. There we go. Just had to give it a little bit of a push because, again, it's self-tapping into the plastic there. So there we go. So the fan's in place. Okay. Fan shroud parts. Okay, that's this printed part right here. Let's pull these out. Let's pull all these cables out. They even gave me a new IR cable, but I don't really need it. So I'm going to put that IR cable aside. Hey, Brian Vines, how are you? Could I add another 4 cameras and keep myself in the middle? Getting a Brady Bunch vibe. I'll do my best for next time. 5 cameras is plenty. Can you imagine? Okay, so this part here, it's the part cooling doomer thing or whatever you want to call it. Much smaller than the one I had on. The one I had on there was this one. So big difference in the 2 parts. So, okay. So we need an M320 and an M3 square nut. So we have a square nut and an M320. I will bet my left leg this is an M320. Oh crap, that's not an M320. That's not an M320. That's an M320. I owe somebody my left leg. Okay, M320 and a square nut. Now the square nut, if I am not mistaken, goes in this fan part. There's a little square slot right there. I guess I should just read the instructions because I know what happens when it is exactly where it goes. When I zip ahead on instructions, I mess up. That goes in here, and that slides in. It's just like, exactly like, almost like, oh, that's being stubborn, are you? Okay. Let's see if I can't get that to go in. Just like that. There we go. And again, I'm going to take my bolt and just ensure that I did get that in there properly, and I did get that in there properly. Look at that. Don't say it, Kieran Clark. No, thank you. 5 cameras is already too much for Tim in one place. It's crowded in here with the cameras, but people seem to like this view. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. Whatever. Me, I'm not a people pleaser. I'm a whatever you want to call me. So, okay. We've got that in place. That goes up there onto that little doomer thingy. So there's a little slot right here. Which camera view shows it, doesn't matter. There's a little slot. Oh, hang on, this camera is being blocked. Let's just do this. Which one's this camera on? That's this guy right here. Let's zoom in right. There we go. Zoom you in here a little bit. Anyway, it's hard to see because it's all black. There's a little slot right here. And that little slot accepts this little arm on the blower. Look. Like this. So you can't really mess it up. That goes in here like this. Okay, and then this kind of, I say you can't really mess it up as I'm messing it up. It seems it's a little tight fit. So this slides in here. This guy kind of slides up in here, kind of like that. Okay, this almost seems like it's warped or something like that. Because basically what happens is this goes on here. This screw goes this last bolt goes through the bottom corner of the fan and secures on this hot end cooling shroud, whatever you want to call it, thing here that accepts the blower fan here. So kind of got to work your way in here, and almost looks too wide. I don't know which camera shows that better, but anyways, almost looks too wide. If I turn this way a little bit, if I bring this camera over this way a little bit more, can I lighten that camera up at all? Let's just see. There we go. This almost looks too wide. So I'm going to have to kind of force and bend this piece in. Let me read. Slide the fan shroud into the extruder. Make sure that both protrusions on the fan shroud fit the grooves on the extruder. Yeah. Secure using an M320. Don't over tighten the screws. You can break the plastic casing. I know that. Make sure the fan can rotate completely. Okay, so this goes in here. That goes in there. There we go, just like that. There we go. Just being a little finesse with it, like that. Poof, poof. Then we take the M340, M320 through that, and this is going to secure everything in place. Oh, come on. Let's use the right size Allen wrench, or sorry, hex key. That goes right through the bottom of the fan, and it's going to secure into that nut that square nut that I put in this here. So we're getting the resistance, we're tightening, and we don't want to over tighten. And we want to make sure, there we go, and make sure the fan can still rotate. And the fan can rotate freely, no problem. Okay, there we go. There's the cooling doomer thingy. Attachment, whatchamacallit. There we go. Print fan parts preparation. 2 M320s and 1 M3 nut. There's a nut, 2 M320s. Those are 20s, or I will eat my left hand on screen. Those are 20s. Thank you. I didn't want to have to eat my left hand on screen. Okay. First, slide the fan into the fan shroud. Make sure it's aligned properly. Second, fit the fan into place using 1 M320 screw. So here we go. This is a part cooling fan. Pretty simple, this step. It just slides down into the fan shroud like that. It's going to be secured by an M320 up here and an M320 down here. And just make sure it's in there, and it should sit there nice and sit there for you. Actually, I don't need that nut, because that nut is going to tell me to put it in the back here where I already put it in when I cheated, kind of thing. So I'm not going to need to do that. So this goes up here, and it should line up nicely with that. There we go. And then this one, see, it's going to say, you watch. It's going to say, turn the extruder around and insert the M3 nut. No need to pull it. We will use the screw. Yeah, so anyways, this goes into here like this. Right into that nut that I already put in there. Oops, the nut fell out. The nut fell out. The nut fell out. Just gotta make sure it's lined up. Is all. Here we go. We grip the nut. That's all done. There's the cooling fan done. Parts cooling fan done. Thawed grilled lizard on a stick. Only in Australia. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone through this stage where we place the fan in, we put that M320 screw in here, we put the nut in the back there, and then basically we put another M320 screw up there, and we're just going to, in here, we're going to guide the cable according to the picture. Again, there's a little groove on the side. You want to make sure the cable's not going to interfere with the belt or the rod below it, the rod below the belt. I know people, and it's got to sit in behind the PID and the probe holder there, so. I know people like hearing me say rod below the belt. So we're going to, do that. So here's the cable. There's the little groove it was talking about right there. And so I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Probably not that easy, but basically, oh, there we go. So basically what it's saying is there's a PID and a probe is going to go there. And there's a little groove where the cable just kind of just rides in, just in behind here like that. And all this cable is going to come out in the back into a cable management system. So, yeah. But there's really nothing to hold this in. So, yeah, don't stretch the cable, yada, yada. Bend it towards the extruder, which we're doing. And, yeah, so it's just going to sort of sit in there. And once the PID and the probe goes in there, the PID and the probe is going to hold that in place. You don't enjoy saying rod below the belt, Tim? Well, people enjoy hearing it. Okay. Now we're going to super PIDNA part sensor preparation. Okay. For the following steps, please prepare super PIDNA, which is right. New super PIDNA probe right here. Which camera? What cameras am I on? This is this this is this camera. Ha! Too many cameras. Gosh, I got to get used to it. There's a new super PIDNA probe. Look at that. Apparently it's different than the one that was on there, so I don't know. It measures the, something to do with the way it measures is different than the old one, so I don't know anything about the PIDNA probes. So, okay, PINDA. Note that the Super PINDA differs from the previous generation of PINDA sensor. Now there are only 3 wires in the connector. Okay, well, 3 wires, and there was 4 in the old one. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to put the probe in, insert the new probe and sensor into the holder, slide in about half the sensor, exact position, doesn't matter, we'll adjust it later. Create a loop in the cable from the sensor. I'm just reading the instructions real quick here. You guys can see, so we're sliding in it about halfway. Create a loop from the sensor, makes sense so we don't have any pressure on it. Slightly tighten the screw, do not tighten fully. We'll adjust the height of the super PIDNA sensor later. Push the cable into the channel together with the fan cable. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, we adjust it with, if they do it the way they did before, it's with a credit card thickness from the bed on the sensor. So, okay, so I'm just going to switch cameras here and let's just move this over here a bit and see if I can get you guys an angle so nobody complains that, hey, I can't see what you're doing. But it's not really exciting what I'm doing, but hey. Now which camera's this camera? You don't need to see a picture of Jenna Fisher. Focus on this right here camera. There we go. Okay. So this goes in here about halfway down. Okay, I'd say that's about halfway. None of the cameras are really showing this. There we go. You can see it on the bottom left camera there, and you can kind of see it on the bottom right one too, along with the wire mess. So we're going to snug this down, but not tighten it all the way. That's good. We're going to form a loop. Well, first of all, let's pull this whole thing through here. We're going to form that loop that they mentioned, like this. We're going to put it into that channel. We don't need that big a loop. A loop like that down into that channel. See, now that the PIDNA probe is going to hold that fan wire in there, no problem. So that this camera. That's this one here. If I turn the light on, it'll look a lot easier. So there's that loop they were talking about, sort of like a strain relief loop. Okay. And then these wires are just tucked in there, and that's popping through there, and we're laughing. Okay, I know. Okay. There has to be a chicken joke in there. The probe goes there. Yes, it does. That's super. Yes, it is. I'm holding out for the super duper pinda. Oh, I love my followers. Okay, and they're saying there, push the cable into the channel, boom, which I did, together with the fan cable, which I did. Good. Okay, now we're going to get back into nylon parts preparation. It's recommended to wear safety glasses while cutting the nylon. Dang, well, that stupid thing fell behind my desk, so I'm going to have to grab my thing. Go ahead. I'm going to grab my thing, this guy, and it fell down behind my desk, so I'm going to have to grab it. Let me lean over my desk, bump all my cameras. Where'd it go? Where'd that piece go? I know it fell. There it is. There it is. Gotcha. Gotcha. That camera just went super blurry. Oh, there it is. Good. Whew. Okay. New nylon black filament. The upgrade package includes new nylon in case yours from the disassembled printers is damaged or not longer rigid enough. Using the pliers, cut one end of the filament to create a tip. So basically, we're going to use the clippers here, this camera here, and we're just going to cut a tip, almost like cutting filament to put it in the extruder. Oh, come on. Tip. There we go. Whew. Okay. Yeah, we have a tip, just like that picture, except comes up with something you lost last week. Yeah, pretty much it, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Oh, man. 8:15 already. We're not going to get through this whole upgrade today. We'll have to continue next week. Yeah, we're using the pliers, cutting a tip. Fair enough. Make sure the tip is similar to the third picture. It is. And then we have to locate the hole for the nylon filament using the smallest Allen key. Ensure there are no obstacles inside. Okay, on the back. We're coming around to the back now. So, basically, the hole for the nylon filament is right there. Right there. If you can kind of see it on below that belt. Okay, so basically what we need to do is push it in, and it kind of just jams in there, and it sort of holds itself in there nice and tight. Oh, okay. Oh, we're at 8:15. I want to just check and see what the next few steps are, because there's still a fair ways to go, because we still have to do the X-axis, or the X or the Y-axis upgrade kit too. And that could take a while. This has been entertaining. Yeah, we've still got a few things to do. I think I'm going to basically, let's get back to this one. I think I'm going to basically call it here for tonight. It's getting late, and if I go too much longer, it's going to be way too long, and I'm going to get into things I don't really want to get into right now. But we will. We've got a lot done. It took longer than I thought. I'm going to be honest. It took longer than I thought. But as I said, take care, Brian. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it, as always. It took a little longer than I thought. But as I said, when I'm streaming and when I'm explaining and when I'm reading instructions carefully to, for anybody that may be popping on later to help or watch this, then I want to be thorough. So hence why it's taking a little longer than I anticipated. because we still have, let me just show you what we still have left to go. So we'll just whip through this real quick. So we're going to continue next week. We have inserted the nylon cable there. Now we're getting into the sensor. Then we're going to be getting into assembling the back and cleaning up all the wiring, running all the wiring, and then plugging in the, the E-axis is finished when you do that. But when we go back, we have to go to the electronics assembly, and all there is in the electronics assembly is basically plugging in, making sure all the cables are running down, plugging in the PIDNA probe, and basically getting all these cables in there properly, making sure the super PIDNA is plugged into the right spot. I don't worry about any of this other stuff. It's already there. But watch this. Watch how, what's this? Oh, it's going into a different spot. Okay. But look how neat the wires are in this thing. So it's, maybe we'll try and do some clean cable management next week based on, better than what I had in there initially by using some zip ties in here. But anyways, that's that portion. And then after that, there is the Y-axis upgrade, which basically includes taking the bed off the printer. Okay. Taking the bed off the printer and replacing. So what they're doing on the Y-axis for the upgrade is, those of you that have this, if you remember these things were held on, the rods were held on with these little narrow U-clips, okay? They've replaced those with, see if I can find it, they've replaced those with these kind of clips right here. So it's a little more stable. I think there was issues with this thing with movement and stuff. So these are a lot more stable than the U-clips they were putting on. So anyways, that's kind of what's gonna transpire next week as we continue this. There's a little bit of work to go there. So hey, Jersey Hack, thanks. Hi, thanks for popping in. So yeah, so that's a lot. So I think I'm going to call it for tonight based on how far we've gotten. We got quite a bit done. Apparently this is going to help increase printing performance, which is interesting because this thing prints like a king. Anyways, this thing prints incredibly well. An additional step I'm going to do is I've also printed, where did I put it? I'm going to change out the orange cover on the front of it. I've printed myself a black cover for the front of it because the new knob that goes on it is black. So I just thought, well, let's change out the front cover to a black cover. So I printed that on it, but I mean, you can see how nicely this thing is printing. That was done yesterday. So printed beautifully. So yeah. So that's another thing we're gonna change out as well. So let's leave it at that. I'll do a little bit of cleaning up. I'll try and get the cameras a little better organized for next week. Although it seemed to work out well. People seem to like the 4-camera view. But yeah, it's not perfect. Live streaming, things happen and you move cameras around, and hopefully everybody kind of got a good view of what I was doing tonight when you were paying attention. So, and I appreciate everybody that's been viewing on sacrilege. What's sacrilege? This cover? No, I don't know what you're talking about, Kieran. Elaborate for me. So because this is 2.5 hours tonight. So, but again, it'll go quicker if you're doing it on your own and you're not streaming about it and stopping and reading the chat and everything like that. So, but it went pretty good. So I think there's enough to fill a couple hours next week as well by finishing this off. Ideally, what I may do is cheat, because really, when you think about it, let's have a look. When you think about it, this part here, when it talks about, not this part. Let's see, we're all the way down here. Cleaning up the wiring and everything, there's really not much to that. I could probably do that off screen, because all we're doing is putting the back piece back on. There's nothing new. We're putting the back piece back on. We're putting the wire, whatever, the wire support with the thing here. All this is wire management, these last few pieces. Maybe I'll do the wire management, and then next week we'll start on the electronics, which is basically plugging the probe into the new place where it gets plugged in. I think maybe that's what it'll do, because the wire management could just be boring. It's just wire management and it's cable management and stuff. So you won't be able to see the knob if the cover is black. Oh, Jason, I beg to differ. I could print an orange knob. Well, the knob, since we're on the topic of knobs, my old knob, they've changed the design of the knob too. I think the new Prusas that ship come with a new one, but my old knob, that's what my old knob looked like. Okay, this guy here. And the new knob is a 3-prong knob like this. So there's the difference. They've made a big difference in the knob. I think this knob allows you to spin it faster because you got 3 things you can hang on to. So colored bezel always looks better. So anyways, I don't know. I could always reprint one in orange or red or whatever. So I want to get rid of the orange on the Prusa anyways. I eventually want to replace all the printed parts with the black. The black looks just, I mean, it just looks classy. I mean, the black stuff, this is their PET G that they sent for the replacement parts. And that's another thing, is the kit did come with a 300 gram, came with a 300 gram spool of black PET G, Prusa mint, obviously, which I've lost the end on now. So this will likely be tangled up to no end when I do find the end. But anyways, 300 gram roll of filament, and I still got probably half of it left. I printed 2 sets of spare parts, and I printed this front plate cover with it so far, and I got lots left. Where's the end? It's going to bug me if I can't find the end. There it is. It's not tangled, thank goodness. So, and there's still lots left. So what I may end up doing is just printing all the other parts and eventually replacing them on another stream, and I don't know, whatever. It entails taking the printer apart again, but what the heck? I'm going to be getting good at that by that time that comes. So don't be a knob, reprint with some contrast. Okay, I don't know, maybe. How about Galaxy Black? Would that make you happy, Jason, if I ran it in Galaxy Black, which would contrast the black because it's got a little silver sparklies in it? Will that make you happy? Just for you, Jason, I will consider that. How about that? Next thing you know, you're going to say it conflicts with the orange parts on the printer, and you're going to want to replace all those. Even better, go for a color change halfway along the knob. Oh, hey. So you're saying maybe make the top part purple. I'm done talking with you guys. That's it. You guys are just being silly now. Purple. Can't believe there's still 29 people listening to this banter, but I appreciate it. 8:30 coming up. I've got to have a little bite of dinner now, and yeah, 3 shades of black. Like, hey, 3. Ay. Purple. Oh, well, we'll see what we come up with. Anyways, this has been fun. And I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And I appreciate y'all that are going to hang out with me next Sunday. And we'll see you guys on the Twitches through the week, I'm sure. On the regular Twitch things that I make whichever ones I can. And but that's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody. 50 Shades of. Yeah, 50 Shades of Black. I do have 50 Shades of Filament probably on my shelf over here. I digress. Listen, thanks, everybody. Oh, hang on. I'm just curious about something. Oh, that PTFE was just a tiny bit shorter. Oh, okay. Well, I should throw this one out so I don't mix it up. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to ignore the chat now because you guys are just straying way off onto periwinkle blue, yada, yada, yada. Everybody have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next Sunday to finish this off and probably do a test print. Why not, right? Maybe I'll test print a new knob. How's that? Will that make you happy, Jason, if I test print a new knob? That's what we'll do. We'll come up with a color. We will see what happens. Anyways, thank you for everybody for the donations tonight. Thank you to my patrons, and thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the subscription on Twitch and the bits on Twitch. The bit, that almost didn't come out right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody hanging out, and we will catch everybody next week as we conclude this M3KS to M3KS Plus upgrade, and we will catch you guys during the week. Have a safe week, everybody. Good night for now. Thanks again. Bye-bye.